We live in a world that rewards urgency, that celebrates quick wins and faster answers. It teaches us to chase fixes, not understanding, to reach for something, anything, that keeps us from feeling the raw, unresolved space of being human, to get rid of pain fast, to solve things before we ever sit with them. But the greatest advice I've ever received was this: learn to sit with discomfort without trying to escape it. Because pain isn't always a problem to solve. Sometimes it's a signal, a mirror, a doorway. We don't like sitting in the unknown, in the quiet, in the messy middle. But that's where transformation starts. Most people try to outpace their emotions. They scroll through them, work through them, numb them. But healing doesn't happen by running. It happens by being with what's hard, fully, honestly, patiently. Discomfort is where your real growth begins, where the truth starts to rise, where you realize what's no longer aligned and what's asking to be born. If you can stay, not fix, not flee, just stay, something deep starts to change. This advice isn't flashy. It doesn't trend. It won't show up on your Explore feed or come with a dopamine rush, but it will change your life. Because once you know how to stay with what hurts, you also learn how to stay with what's real. Peace isn't found by avoiding discomfort. It's found by walking through it and discovering you were always strong enough to hold it. And over time, that ability to stay with what's hard becomes the foundation of everything. Your relationships, your focus, your purpose. Because nothing worth keeping comes without moments of discomfort. Even joy, even love, even growth. They all require presence. And presence means staying with the full spectrum. The beautiful, the boring, the unbearable. What makes this advice so powerful is that it applies to every layer of life. Want to build a business? You'll have to sit with risk. Want deep relationships? You'll have to sit with vulnerability. Want peace? You'll have to sit with your own thoughts. Most people want results without resistance. They want outcomes without discomfort. But the irony is, discomfort is the gatekeeper to all the things they want. Most people just turn around too early. So next time the noise rises, next time your chest tightens or your mind races, imagine this. You're standing in a storm. Every instinct says run, but instead, you pause. You place a hand over your heart. You ask yourself not, how do I escape this? But what is this trying to show me? Because maybe the pain isn't a punishment. Maybe it's an invitation. And maybe the real work isn't pushing it away, but letting it change you. Stay, breathe, witness, heal. That's the advice I still come back to every single day. Because discomfort shows you who you are underneath it all. Not the curated version, not the role you play, the real you, the one who's been waiting to be heard. The more time you spend with your discomfort, the more you realize it's not there to break you. It's there to break what no longer serves you. The masks, the patterns, the lies you've been telling yourself. And as those fall away, you start to rebuild, slower but more true, not chasing an image, but honoring your essence. Sitting with discomfort doesn't mean you have to like it. It just means you stop running from it. You give yourself permission to feel without fixing, to grieve without rushing, to pause without guilt. It means and this is what I've learned. The people who grow the most aren't the ones who have all the answers. They're the ones who are willing to feel it all, to be with life in its fullness, not just the highs, but the heaviness too. So wherever you are right now, know this. You don't have to rush your healing. You don't have to have it figured out. You just have to stay long enough to see what's real beneath the noise. And if you stay long enough, something shifts. Not because the pain disappears, but because your relationship to it changes. It stops being the thing that defines you and starts being the thing that refines you. You begin to see your capacity, how deep you can go, how much you can hold, how present you can stay. You stop fearing your emotions and start building a friendship with them. And that changes everything. because now you're not afraid of the dark. You've learned to sit with it, to listen to it, to find your breath inside of it. You don't reach for the nearest distraction. You carry your own light through it. You know how to wait for the sun. You trust that even in your lowest moments, something inside you still knows the way. That's what sitting with discomfort teaches you. Trust. Not just in life, but in yourself, in your resilience, in your ability to meet reality as it is, without flinching. And when that trust deepens, so does your freedom. You stop being controlled by fear. You stop being reactive. You stop chasing temporary highs, because you've built something real inside, something steady, something rooted. This advice, as simple as it sounds, is the quiet foundation of every wise life I've ever witnessed. The people who hold space for others, the ones who move with presence and power, they're not fearless. They've just practiced staying. Staying when it's uncomfortable, staying when it's boring, staying when it hurts, staying when it's easier to distract. That's the muscle. That's the practice. That's the gift. So if you're looking for the next big insight, maybe it's not a new idea. Maybe it's the courage to sit with the truth you've been avoiding, to let it speak, to let it guide, to let it undo the things that no longer belong. And in that undoing, in that unraveling, you'll meet a version of yourself that feels more honest than anything you've been chasing. Not shinier, not more perfect, just more you. So breathe, let the silence in, let the discomfort speak. Stay present long enough for something new to arrive. Witness your own strength. Heal, not all at once, but again and again. Because the goal was never perfection. It was presence. And presence doesn't need to be loud to be powerful. It just needs to be real. You don't have to perform strength. Quiet endurance is a strength too. You don't have to be unshakable. You just have to stay rooted in what matters. Let the waves hit. Let the world spin. But stay anchored in the wisdom that came not from comfort, but from your willingness to feel. That's the greatest advice I was ever given. And it keeps giving every time I remember to follow it. If you'd like to join our upcoming newsletter, a space where we'll be sharing powerful life wisdom, tools for inner growth, exclusive insights, and reflective prompts, just write the words "greatest advice" below. You'll be added to a list that gets early access once it goes live. Stay close, stay curious.